I wanted to create a video that would show you rather than just explain where to click. This video is about grading and ensuring that you have submitted the necessary assignments. The very first place that you should go to look for assignments is on the course homepage when you first log in. In the calendar, you will note that on February 8th, which is Monday, that you have one assignment due. If you have not yet posted in this, then you can actually just click right there and it will take you into that discussion. It will give you an outline as to what that discussion is and even provide the discussion link for you. In order to ensure that you're handing in assignments, say for that discussion, you can also go into the discussions tab in which you can see and check in on to make sure that it's posted. So if you wanted to make sure that you were looking at this particular discussion and that you had posted in it, you can go into it and find your post. So that's true for all of the discussions that are linked there. You may also notice that some of the discussions have disappeared. This is because there are end dates on those discussions. What that allows me to do as an instructor is that they close down, and anybody who did not participate in that discussion, I can evaluate them, and then I'll open up the discussion afterwards so that you can see what you posted. This is why it is so very important to check your due dates on the course homepage. So let's go back there. Often in the calendar, or not in the calendar, but in the agenda for the day, I will also post the discussions that are due and their due date. So it is very important to be checking this course homepage and ensuring that you're submitting assignments on time. In assignments, you'll notice something a little bit different. In assignments, you'll have a list of all of the assignments that we will be going through in this course. But here you also have the link to say that you've submitted it. We have not worked on this assignment yet, therefore it is not submitted. This is a way that you can check to make sure that you've handed in the assignments on time. When those are given feedback, you can actually click on, if it's an assessed piece, which the personal essay was not, it was simply for feedback, that your grade will appear here, and that when I hand it back to you marked, it will show up here. The other thing that you will be able to see is that when I do a markup of that assignment online, I can actually write on it and provide feedback within the document, whether it be an annotation where I scribble on your page or circle things, or even provide sticky notes that elaborate on what I'm identifying for feedback, that you can actually open up my markup that will be provided right there. So that is the way to know when things are due, but also whether or not you have submitted them or where you can access them outside of the content. The last thing that I wanted to show you is grades. And so I have been providing grades as we go through, and we'll need to be looking at how this is. Oh, it's showing you by weight. So that's something that I'll adjust, where you'll get to see that this is a 10 out of 10. And this is a 10 out of 10. And this was a little bit less, but it's weighted differently. So I will adjust those so that they present as out of 10 instead of a decimal point as per their weight. But what you can see here is that we have 3 assessments that were provided with grades, and here you have your feedback. Down here we had 2, and I haven't gone through and given feedback on the personal essay. These were not for an evaluation, but rather for feedback, and so you will notice they're at the bottom of the assessed pieces, but they also provide the feedback there as to what these assignments are. So those are the ways that you could and should be checking to ensure that you have completed the work, but also that you can check in on your participation. One key thing to note that I'll explain in the email as well is that should this be 0 out of 10 because it was not completed, you will simply see the feedback: you did not participate in this discussion. That often, for me as a teacher, gets more of a reaction from the students when they see that 0. So the next question that I'm often emailed about is whether or not they can submit. So when I view assignments, I can go through and mark them. It also timestamps them, so I know when they are late. So for anyone handing in their assignments on time, they will be evaluated as such. For anyone who misses a discussion and can no longer post in the discussion because it is closed, the procedure is that I would like you to email me. If you see here that you did not participate in this discussion and have a 0, you should email me asking me if you can submit your discussion post. And more than likely, if the discussion post is not opened, then you can email me, or I may give you direction that I want you to go back in and post it, seeing that it is timestamped and I can know that it wasn't handed in before, but now is. So that email is important so that you contact me and we can discuss the way in which I want you to submit that late assignment. So what happens when you submit a late assignment or discussion is that there is a percentage taken off. Oftentimes in a discussion, because you are not participating in the discussion and or reading and responding to your peers' posts, that you will simply get a 50% if you contribute a discussion post to me or in the discussion if it is late. For assignments, there is only a certain percentage deduction when I go through and see that it was handed in after the due date. So that is why it is so important that you check that course homepage, make sure that you know what is due, when it is due, and that you submit it before the due date.